friend of mine just had a brand new baby, and she posted a few pictures on Facebook that perfectly captures the sheer joy and sheer happiness that a woman feels when she looks at that baby for the very first time. And me, just looking in on those pictures, you could feel the raw love in the room. But most women might agree motherhood can look a little bit different a few years later. While you still love those kids fiercely, you might not be as in love with the thought of changing a diaper or washing a onesie. So if you feel burned out by the dull day-to-day responsibilities, our next guest has a dose of mommy motivation. Studio 5 contributor Connie Sokol has 4 ways, in fact, to fall in love with motherhood all over again. And you're coming into this topic with a battle wound to prove it.
Oh my gosh, I was totally cracking up. 3 in the morning, my sweet baby chucks his sippy cup at my eye. And I'm like puffy and bruised this morning, got a cut. I'm like, okay, what makeup can I put on there? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm feeling the love for motherhood this morning.
This idea of falling back into love with motherhood, though, I love that topic because it just insinuates something that I think a lot of moms feel, and that's a need to recharge a little bit.
Yes, because sometimes I think we feel like we need to be skipping through the daisies and singing the chore list, and then we're loving motherhood. And that's not how it is. I love Gretchen Rubin, who wrote The Happiness Project. She cites this one study, and it talks about following women and their emotions through their daily activities. And they said that their feelings about childcare rated just slightly more pleasant than a commute. And that was the reality. And what was great, I thought, oh my gosh, I've had those moments and those days and sometimes those months. But then I loved how the author came back and said, nevertheless, despite those findings, I disagree with the experts saying that children do not bring you happiness, because they do. And I love the point that she made, and she talks about fog happiness. I talk more about woven happiness, where it's like threads in and through and around your life, where it's not necessarily this confetti moment, but it's just these feelings and the fullness that children bring. And that's sometimes what we miss. And when we're going with the diapers and the day-to-day, we can kind of miss that we're having those moments. Anna Quinlan, I love her stuff, and she says one of the biggest mistakes that she made, and as most parents that we make, is that we're not living in the moment enough. And what happens is that we're so focused. She said, I wish I wasn't so focused on the doing, but had been focused more on the getting it done a little less. And that's so hard as a mom to do both of those.
Because you plow through that to-do list. All women do, right?
Yes, and it's necessary. It's not like we're making this stuff up. I mean, some stuff is, you know, extraneous, but it's not that we're making this up. We've got to remember to be in that moment and look for those moments that we feel that love of motherhood and be really intentional about that. So one thing that you can do is create a love list of why you love being a mother. And I think this is so fun because it really is a great physical reminder. Put it in your smartphone, put it in your planner, by your bed, that reminds you, it makes you smile. My certain things are like my Chubs, I call him Chubs, baby. I love it. He grabs right into my neck and gets my hair and pulls me in for a monkey hug and then just goes like this. Oh my gosh, it just, I love that moment. Or going to my kids' concerts at Christmas, it was so cute. Just seeing them sing, it was bringing tears to my eyes. Just moments like that. My daughter, my 8-year-old, will put these little notes and they're misspelled, and she has stick figures of her and I together with cute hair. And I love those. These are the things that if we don't, you know, point out or look for, we're going to miss, and we're just going to think this is kind of drudgery.
So you think the act of physically writing it down will help bring women's attention to the lovely moments that are sprinkled throughout the day?
Absolutely, and remind us, like a gratitude journal will remind us.
Nothing can suck the love out of a responsibility like diapers or laundry or those daily homemaking skills. And that word homemaking, you say even women could put a different spin on that and just throw some beauty back into this idea of keeping a home.
Yes, and sometimes, you know, our homes get so kind of hotelish that we just are in and out, in and out. We're not thinking, how does this environment really affect me? But I had this neat experience. I went to visit a friend, and they had done a little bit of remodeling. And I walked into her home, and it was just, the word that came to mind was lovely. The counters were clear, but it wasn't like, you know, sterile. And then the decorating was so lovely, but it wasn't effusive. It was just this, I said, your home is lovely. And she had this great reaction. She went, thank you. It takes a lot of energy to be a homemaker. And that stuck with me because I thought it does, and we don't really value that. We don't really say, this takes a lot of energy. So I started doing a few things, and I think it's a great idea to just make a few simple changes to make it more lovely. Maybe it's new placemats or new dishes or some fresh flowers or a clear counter where there's no dishes. A friend of mine is saving up for some new couches, but until she gets them, she's just getting a few cute cushions so that it can kind of update the look, because all of this affects us. I know designer Alexandra Stoddard, she says, surround yourself with objects that are meaningful because it will will give you feelings of joy and contentment throughout the day so that we will want to be home and will enjoy being there.
It does create that ambiance.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
My husband laughs because I feel like I have something of someone's I love in every room, right?
That's
my grandma's
wonderful.
pearls or my mom's old picture when she modeled for ZCMI sprinkled in my guest bedroom. But it's that meaningful decor that surrounds you and does create a feeling in the home. Talk to me about this idea of comparison, because often that comparison trap can really squash the feeling of I love being a mom.
Absolutely. And we end up comparing ourselves to what other women, you know, we perceived, oh, that's a good mother, because there's no real checklist and we're not really sure how we're doing. But I love Maria Shriver has this wonderful quote that says, you know, think about the kind of parent that you want to be and stop comparing to others. She says, I would rather have my kids say you're never around, or would I have them rather say, boy, I'm so glad that you didn't take on that high profile interview so that you could be with me. And that's so much better when we consider what kind of a mom am I for my kids, because we're the ones that know them and we're the best choice for them. And on the same vein, it's comparing our kids to other kids. Oh my gosh, at Christmas I got this wonderful newsletter from a friend, and her son was holding down 3 part-time jobs, and he had done this great thing for Facebook with the community and with his school, and I had at the time a son that was not being as responsible as we thought he could be, and I wanted to read this to him and say, look, see, you've had a lot handed to you, and this boy, he's really working hard. Thankfully I didn't. Instead, I stepped back and I looked at the good things that my wonderful son was already doing and realized, yes, I can help him move forward, but it is about appreciating who they are. So again, with the list, and not that lists are everything, but it helps us in the busyness. Traits and talents, write down about each child, a few things, the inner and the outer, not just he plays basketball, and he's really quick to help the neighbors, or she plays piano, great, but she's also the peacemaker in the home. So we can see our kids as they are and appreciate who they are right now, not wishing they were someone else.
And that leads right into your final point, which is to love your children's potential and to help them see that. You have a fun exercise that allows you to kind of put that into perspective.
I love it, and this is the best part, I think, of being a mom, is watching them grow and helping them to develop their potential. We do a thing at the beginning of the year called Life Mats. It's super easy. 3 to 5 fun and functional goals. So a total of those, but a mix of fun and functional. So getting your eagle, but maybe he wants to play in a band or something that's more fun. And then we write them on a placemat, we put the goals in the center, and then they do pictures that kind of show their goals, put their name on it, and then we laminate them, and that becomes the placemat for dinner. And that way we can talk about them, we can encourage them, because as moms, that's what we get to do best. We get to find ways to help move them forward and then share of ourselves, share that we love history or geography or whatever. Like this one lady in a column just shared how her mother had maps by the table, and she gave them that love of history and current events, and that translated into something she loved. So this is what we can do. We can help them develop their potential by sharing who we are and then paying attention to ways that we can move them forward.
I love the topic. Connie, thank you so much. And part of loving motherhood is finding a good, healthy balance. You have a podcast, is it?
Yes, a 30-minute download on balancing womanhood and motherhood, and it's free if you go on our website, ConnieSokol.com, and sign up for our newsletter. Lots of fun podcasts and tips and blog posts, so you get a free 30-minute download for signing up just at ConnieSokol.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Good to see you, as always.